We're going to continue on the topic that we did last week, which was abortion.
Okay.
Um, because remember when I said he trying to do a 2 hour topic in a half
Right.
hour,
Right.
you know. But it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
um, you can go on the internet if you don't have a computer at home. Excuse me. You can go to the library.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to register anything. Just go to the library while they still got them open.
Right.
You know, uh, and look on the internet and find this in 5 minutes. I'm gonna read this.
Okay.
Minority women constitute only about 13% of the female population, age 15 to 44 in the United States, but they underwent 36% of the abortions.
Wow.
According to the Alan Guttmacher Institute, black women are more than 5 times as likely as white women to have an abortion. Oh, and by the way,
Mm-hmm.
women that have an abortion are
Mhm.
4.7 times more likely to have breast cancer.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And who's the doctor? The Lord, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. All right. On the average, 1,876 black babies are aborted every day in the United States.
Mm.
There's even a thing on the internet when I did this search.
Mm-hmm.
I clicked on this and came up with this information. I could have went back to the main page,
Mm-hmm.
clicked on another one and talked about how this racist doctor likes committing abortions because he don't want anybody to adopt black babies.
Wow.
That's how sick people are into this abortion. But that's a whole nother. We ain't talking about them.
Yeah, I know.
We talk about us.
The number that tripped me out
Yeah.
though, it says 1,876 are aborted
Every
every day,
day.
not year, but
Okay.
day.
Okay.
That's
24 hours times
Wow.
60 minutes. That's 24. That's 840. Whatever.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna figure that. I think it's 800 minutes, so that's like 3 an hour or something like that, more than that. But the incidence of abortion has resulted in a tremendous loss of life. It has been estimated, probably conservatively,
Mm-hmm.
that since the 1973 Roe versus Wade decision, black women have had about 16 million abortions.
Wow.
Since the number of current living blacks in the U.S. is 36 million,
Mm-hmm.
the missing 16 million represents an enormous loss, for without abortion, America's black community would now number 52 million people. It would be 36% larger than it is. Abortion has swept through the black community like a scythe, cutting down every fourth person. The most dangerous place for an African American young man or woman
Mm-hmm.
is not on the block,
Mm-hmm.
not in the playground, not in school, it's in the womb.
Right.
Okay?
That's crazy.
Approximate number of African American deaths since 1973. From AIDS, 200,000. Violent crimes, although I think this is underestimated, 306,000.
Yeah.
Accidents, 370,000. Cancer, 1.6 million. Heart disease, 2.26 million. Abortion, 16 million.
Oh goodness.
So
That's
know,
something else.
that's Middle Passage numbers right there.
Yeah.
And that was from people hating on us and beating the crap out of us, or from us jumping off ships in the middle of the ocean. Because sharks used to follow the ships because they was killing people, or we were jumping off so much.
The blood. And
Yeah, so this is a great plague on our people.
Wow.
But it's
It
by
is.
choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
It's by choice.
Yeah.
So let's go into some scriptures about this. And I said something last week, and if you understand anything in the Bible, you can easily understand this. People do things to take away the authority and the power of God.
Mm-hmm.
So if God said, respect the Sabbath day, man says half price sale Saturday.
Right.
Don't worry about that Sabbath. You get it that's on sale. Come on
Yeah.
out and shop, man.
Yeah.
What you going to do in the house? You ain't buying or selling. What are you doing?
Yep.
That's a simple example. Let's start at Hebrews 3.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Hebrews 3, read verse 4.
For every house is builded by some man.
Okay, stop. The building we in, the built by a man, the mansion built by a man, $60 million mansion or $8,000 hut built by a man, right?
Mhm.
Okay, read that again from the top.
Hebrews chapter 3 verse 4. For every house is builded by some man, but he that built all things is God.
So the person that even look at it, even the one that put the idea of the invention of like concrete
Mm-hmm.
or using silicon for computer chips. The Most High put that talent, ability, and thought in a man's mind. He built that.
Exactly.
Okay, so it all goes directly or indirectly back to him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He built all things. Job 10.
Okay. Alrighty.
Job 10, I think it's start at verse 8.
Job chapter 10 verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
Thine hands have made me, and fashioned me together round about.
So, yeah, go on.
Yet thou dost destroy me.
So this is Job when he was doing his plays. He's like, yo, woe is me, this is happening. You built me from the beginning,
Right.
but now I'm being destroyed. You know, read on.
Job 10 verses 9. Remember, I beseech thee, that thou hast made me as the clay, and wilt thou bring me into dust again?
So he's saying, you made me basically from nothing, or
It's just like how, like when we're in school, like
Yeah.
junior high school, so
yeah,
and the art class, take
Yeah,
the clay and
yeah.
shape it into bowls
Yep,
and the
yep.
human beings or whatever.
Yep.
That's how the Lord, that's his power and his omnipotency. That's how he
Mhm.
shapes us, because we're
Exactly.
his.
We're
You know what
his
I mean?
creation.
Exactly.
We're his
Yep.
creation. And he said, so are you going to kill me again? You
Mhm.
formed me from the dust. Are you going to kill me? You put me back into the dust? Verse 10. Read verses 10 and 11.
Job chapter 10, verse 10. Hast thou not poured me out as milk, and curdled me like cheese? Thou hast clothed me with skin and flesh, and hast fenced me with bones and sinews.
Read one more.
Thou hast granted me life and favor, and thy visitation hath preserved my spirit.
Okay. So the Most High formed us, and he made us, like you said, poured us out like milk, or curdled us like cheese.
Mhm.
How we create something like a paper airplane, or when I was in high school, we took a trip to the museum and they had one of them old things that the settlers used. I think they had a machine on it or something, so it didn't take 4 hours or whatever, but they took some milk in there and they started the thing up. We went somewhere else and came back and it was all cream, and
Right.
they made the cheese.
Right.
That's just how the Most High made us. He he put skin on us,
Mm-hmm.
gave us bones, the tendons, and all that stuff, and granted us life and favor and blessings. This dude told me a long time ago, before I even knew about the Bible. Yo, man, do like this. That's God, man. Yo, he was right. But he was right. It was deep at the time. I was like, ooh, but he's right. And thy visitation hath preserved my spirit. So just because the Most High says it's okay is
Right.
why not only I made it here, but why words are even coming out of my mouth and I don't drop dead in my forehead, bounce off this table about 3 times before I kick it up and be 10 toes up.
Exactly. Yep.
True. He has that power, not any man.
Exactly.
Not any woman, not anybody, even though some people think they do. And they don't have that authority either. Let's go to Psalms 139.
Okay.
Because some people might say, oh, well, we beating a dead horse. Well, just hang on. We're going to keep beating it.
Yeah, the Lord is very repetitive in his instructions too that he gives us over the years. So.
Exactly, because we're very stiff-necked.
Exactly.
And hard-headed.
Yep, we got to hear it over and over again.
Yep. Psalms 139. Let's read 14 to 17.
I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
No, I called myself into existence.
I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
Okay.
Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well.
So David knew, because he said in Psalms 51, he was created in the womb in iniquity,
Yeah.
but there was a way to escape that iniquity. Okay. So he knew when he was made, and the Most High made him, and that's how he did it. You know, when he was made in the womb, even though it was his father and his mother getting together and all that stuff, it was because the Lord had made him. Read on.
Psalms 139, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth.
Okay, hold on. When he was made in secret, so that probably means before the baby bump.
Yeah.
That probably even means before the first trimester he like even started.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
You know? So let me see. Read on down to 17.
Okay, Psalms 139, verse 16. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them.
No, wait a minute. Because there's no brain activity and it's only like a little, the heart is 4 cells. Look, we're going to stick this camera up in the uterus and we're going to look at this. That thing can't be alive.
Yeah, that's just the foolishness of this world, man, of whole so-called science. And the scriptures right here is telling us that thine eyes, the Lord's eyes, God's eyes, did see my substance, yet being unperfect. So even when he was in the womb, before he was fully formed and shaped.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? The Lord had that intact. And all his members, what are written in his book, shows you that everything is written, goes with what Christ says, not a sparrow falls from the ground.
We going there.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it just shows you that he's in charge of everything. Yeah.
Yep. Which in continuance were fashioned. So all this stuff was written down in the Lord's book, and later on they were fashioned.
Yep, they came to pass. Yeah.
Yeah. So just like the Lord said, God said, "Let there be light," and it was light.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then He said, "Let this happen," and it happened.
Yep.
All right. That's just how things are when a baby happens. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Matthew, because you said it.
All right.
Let's go there. Matthew, I think it's 10. Yeah, it's 10:29.
10. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Yep, that's it.
Okay, Matthew chapter 10, verse 29. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing?
So when they did sacrifices at the temple, they was sometimes sacrifice lambs or cattle, sometimes goats, sometimes turtle doves, sometimes sparrows. So they would say, these are what you could use, sparrows or whatever. But they were, remember, Christ went in the temple and was like, y'all have made my Father's house a house of merchandise.
Yep.
And all the people that was selling these things for people to offer, he turned over the tables and did all this other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So he was telling them, now y'all know a farthing is like basically like a quarter or 50 cents, something, a small unit of money.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's basically people would look like, man, that's like not much worth.
Yeah.
Especially today when people talk about billions and gazillions of dollars.
Exactly.
So let's read on.
Okay, again, Matthew 10, verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing? And one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father.
So he knows it. He sanctioned it.
Yep.
It's okay by him. It was part of his plan.
Mm-hmm.
Read on.
But the very hairs of your head are all numbered.
Okay, well, you got a bigger number than I do, because I'm missing some, but but that's how intricate it is.
Bro.
But the Lord said how many hairs you was going to have when you didn't even have a head for hairs to be on, when you was just so-called the sperm entering into the egg. Matter of fact, the sperm even finding the egg was written.
Yep.
You know, if that's the process, what it is, because you never can't really trust science, but whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're going to go by the scriptures. The hairs of your head are all numbered. This stuff was written in the book of the Lord.
Yeah.
This from the beginning of your existence.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
interesting how this ties right back into Psalms 139. It says it was written.
Yeah.
I never even looked at that before. Yeah.
Exactly. So now, let's look at a couple things back, because we know the Lord didn't change from the Old Testament to the New Testament.
Nope.
The people, the people corrupted the covenant, because Hebrews 8 says, for finding fault with them.
Mm-hmm.
They corrupted the covenant, so that's why his son came. We have a better covenant with a new covenant with better promises. But the requirement for us is the same, still obedience.
Yeah.
Okay? And we had that example of obedience in Christ. So Old Testament, New Testament, you know, they didn't really have any problem. They wasn't carrying around a 1,600-page book, was looking at stuff to see, oh man, this cat is really ticking me off. Let me see, what should I do? Let me look at. No, it wasn't like that.
Right.
Okay. Let's look at Genesis 17.
Okay.
And these things written before time are examples for us. And it tells you that Romans 15 and 4 is through patience and comfort of the scriptures we might have hope. So these are examples for us to take heed to.
Exactly.
So, excuse me, Genesis 17. Let's start at 15. This is when the Lord came and visited Abraham.
And God said unto Abraham, as for Sarah thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. Excuse me.
Uh-huh.
And I will bless her, and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her.
Okay. Wow. So who gives the baby?
Yeah, the Lord gives the children.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Are there any more examples of this? Genesis 25.
Okay. Okay, I was going to say if you want to read 17, but...
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Genesis 17, verse 17, it says, Then Abraham fell upon his face...
Oh, no.
Don't read that.
Okay. Read 18 and 17. That's the 18. One I thought you were talking about.
Okay.
Oh, Genesis... No, I'm sorry. Scripture dyslexia. 18 and 10. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Genesis chapter 18, verse 10. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son.
Read 14.
Verse 4. Let me finish that out.
Uh-huh.
And Sarah heard it in the tent door which was behind him.
Yep.
Genesis chapter 18, verse 14. Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the time appointed I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son.
Now, this stuff is like pretty simple. You know what I mean? The Lord is giving them a child, because they were both well stricken in age.
Exactly.
And when Abraham heard it, he was like, yo, I'm all old and stuff, man. I'm going to have a kid. What? Sarah, when she heard it, she was like, oh really? And the Lord had to say, yo, listen, wait a minute. Is anything too hard for me? Okay. So let's go to Genesis 25.
Okay.
I'm in 24. Doing it again. Okay. Genesis 25 and 20.
Okay. Genesis chapter 25, verse 20.
Uh-huh.
And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padan Aram, the sister to Laban the Syrian.
Okay.
And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So that baby was a gift from God.
Exactly.
Something given from God.
Yep.
Okay. That the existence of started before there was a baby bump, before the woman woke up one day and threw up, had morning sickness. You know, I talked to a lady a long time ago, and she told me that that next morning, she knew she was pregnant. She felt something different in her body.
Wow.
Okay, so that from that point,
process starts right away.
Yes, from that point, that is given from the Lord. There is no time that, okay, well, you know what? There's nothing going on there. You know, she don't like pickles and ice cream yet. You know, she ain't got me running to the store to get peanut butter and strawberries. So it can't be a baby. It's a creature. It's a fetus. You know, it's not really something in existence. So if you don't want it, you don't have to keep it.
Exactly.
No, that's not the way it is.
Yeah.
You know? Did you have something?
Yeah, let me read something real quick.
You go to 1 Samuel?
Yeah, you're going to go
Yeah,
there.
we go there. I want to start in chapter 1.
Okay.
We're going to start in chapter 1. Wow. Okay. Read 1 Samuel 1. Let's read 1 through 7.
Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 1. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim, Zophiim, of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, and Ephrathite. And he had 2 wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other was Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children.
Okay.
And this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priest of the Lord, were there.
Okay, one more.
And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife, and to all her sons and her daughters portions.
Okay, yeah, read on.
But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion.
Meaning a greater portion than all of them. Read on.
For he loved Hannah, but the Lord had shut up her womb.
Ah. Okay, so the Lord has control of that.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
The Lord has control over if a woman is going to have children or not. Okay.
Read on.
Yeah, read on.
1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 6. And her adversary also provoked her sore, for to make her fret, because the Lord had shut up her womb.
So Peninnah was ripping on her because she ain't had no kids, and she did. So that's kind of the opposite of the way it is today, because things are all twisted. Because we're gonna see this. This passage is gonna bring out how it was a blessing. It was looked at as a blessing to have children.
Yep.
You know, and bring them up in the order of the Lord. Let me say that.
Yeah.
And it was thought to be an affliction if you didn't have kids as a woman. Okay, so read verse 11. Okay. This is Hannah when read verse 10 and 11.
All right, 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 10. And she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto the Lord, and wept sore. And she vowed a vow, and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but wilt give unto thine handmaid a man-child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head.
Okay, so she said, please, Lord, look on the affliction of your handmaid and remember me. Don't forget me, but please give me a man-child. Yeah. And then if she did have a child, she would be just so happy that she offered to give the child to the Lord to help the priests and stuff do the service at the temple,
Right.
and he would there would no razor come on his head, so she was going to make him a Nazarite, which was a vow at that time that people used to do around the temples and stuff like that. But we don't have that the favorable conditions
Right.
for that to happen in this present time, although people think differently. Um, and there was one more verse, I think 11, and then 19 and 20, and then we could go into the scripture you was pulling.
No, actually, I was going to
pull
19,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
19
okay,
and
all right,
20.
cool, excellent. All praises. So read 1 Samuel 1, 19 and 20.
And they rose up in the morning early, and worshipped before the Lord, and returned and came to their house to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Lord remembered her.
And what was he going to do? Did he, the stork came, or what? Let's see what happened. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's let the scripture speak.
Verse 20. Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come about, after Hannah had conceived, that she bare a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, Because I have asked him of the Lord.
Okay, so she asked,
Mm-hmm.
and she was given a child.
Yep.
Okay.
You know, I'd point to this too.
Mm-hmm.
While I was going here,
Mm-hmm.
like a while ago, you said you were talking to a lady a while back, and she said like the next morning
Yeah.
or whatever, she
Yeah.
knew there was something different about her body.
Yeah.
When you read this, verse 19, that kind of brings it out, because when it says, and Elkanah knew his wife, meaning they had sex,
Yeah.
then the next sentence ties right into it and says, and the Lord remembered her. So it shows you that it was like
Yeah.
right there. That
Right then.
Exactly, right
Yeah.
then the Lord, okay, all right, I'm going to impregnate her
Yeah.
and give her that son that she was asking for.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it shows you that it happens that right away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it ties into what you had said when the woman knew that, okay, the next morning, something is different about my body.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it just shows you that the Lord is in control of all things. It's not science, like we mentioned last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really a child until the third or fourth. That's all. That stuff is foolishness. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And the scriptures that we're reading is bringing it out. So the whole abortion thing that women do, especially our women, it's off and it's wicked.
Yes, it
It
is.
just goes to show you.
Yes, it
that,
is.
That was
Of course, because I'm gonna read this scripture right quick. There is one purpose for a man and a woman to be together, but intimately.
Yep.
Genesis 1:28, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth.
Yep, that's it.
That's what sex is for. But if you look at Genesis 4, the first intimacy between a man and a woman, it says in verse 1, and Adam knew his wife.
Mhm. Yeah.
His wife. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She shall
Right.
be called woman, because this is the help right for me.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord.
Wow. Yeah.
That's the purpose of sex. The scriptures speak out against casual sex.
Exactly.
Virtual, actual, virtual, whatever. I don't know what. I've been out of circulation for a long time, so I don't know actually how people are doing it. This sex thing, and even imagining about it is off. We're going to go over that in the scriptures, and the scriptures are going to bring that out. But let's look at scripture, Ecclesiastes chapter 3. These things written in the Old Testament are examples unto us that we don't tempt the Lord like people did in the Old Testament, because there's examples of people tempting the Lord and getting cut off,
Right.
of existence or from existence, So let's see. I went past it. It's Ecclesiastes 3, I think 14.
Okay. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 14. I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. and God doeth it, that men should fear before him.
Okay. So that's basically self-explanatory.
Yeah.
When God puts something in order and makes it a certain way, like for example, if he says, listen, this is how you deal with kids, or I'm going to give you a kid, and this is how you're supposed to do, you're supposed to raise them up according, that's the way it should be forever. But because of the hardness of our hearts, the hard-headedness of our brains and our desires that we choose to go into is why this stuff has to be repeated over and over and over again and still not listened to, and that's why the world is in the condition that it's in. You know, it all goes back to idolatry, because in Leviticus 18, if you look, it said, don't a man shouldn't have sex with his son's wife, or his daughter's husband, or his niece, or his mother's his father's wife, or all these different things. And then in the middle of the chapter it says, and you shouldn't make your children pass through the fire to Molech, who is also Baal, the inventor, god, or whatever, of the Christmas tree. But the reason that was mentioned then is because at these idolatrous festivals and these false god worship rituals, there would be orgies going on.
Right.
People would get pregnant. So what they would do was, if they didn't want the child, they would burn it in fire. Just like today, when people have, or when people get pregnant, they don't have to wait until after birth.
Right.
Because of science,
Right.
Which is basically men's wickedness. They can have that baby, whatever, removed, and you know what they do with that body afterward? They burn it.
Now today?
Yeah, even today they still burn it.
Shows there is nothing new under the sun.
Exactly. Well, that's the same scripture that's right after this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Wow.
It's, you know, and so you know, like we used to say, if they used to put trees in their houses and worship Baal and all this stuff during the shortest daytime of the year, I don't care if they call it. I don't care if you call it now today Uka Buka Uga Uga, and you still doing the same thing. It's still the same thing that it was back then. It's off.
Exactly.
It's wrong. It's a sin. Okay, because God set the right way in order from the beginning, and it's forever.
Yeah.
Okay, but men think differently.
Exactly.
So let's ask this question. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 13.
Okay. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 13. Consider the work of God, for who can make that straight which he hath made crooked?
So if God says something, set something in order, how can you change that order?
You can't.
What good is it?
It will be to your destruction if you try to change it.
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's go into Christ.
Okay.
When because he had something to say about adultery, because you know there was a bunch of things written in the law and in the Old Testament about adultery, and really adultery is anything that is not a man and a woman staying together until one of them dies and having a family. And the Lord giving them a family,
right,
or them getting a family from the Lord. So men with men, women with women, any intimate sexual liaisons or trysts or affairs or whatever, hookups, episodes that was not exactly like marriage, which would be marriage, but anything that wasn't marriage was wrong according to it, and it was a sin. There was a lot of different verses that describe these different things and not to do them, but Christ summed it up. Read Matthew 5, verse 27.
All right, Matthew chapter 5, verse 27. All right. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart.
Okay. Now, you have heard that it was said by them of old time, meaning the Old Testament, that people hate to obey.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, a lot of people sure are quoting it when they want to teach something that's not correct or that's off. A lot of people go there,
Yep.
but they don't want to take heed to what's commanded there. I have yet to wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
Because if you go and say, this is what this prophet said then and this and that, and this is why we should do something, and that's off.
Yep.
Or this is why we should donate and give this pastor a Learjet. Because of this script. See this Old Testament? See that was back in the day. What? How you?
Yeah, foolishness.
Yeah, but thou shalt not commit adultery, meaning you shall not have unlawful marriages. You shall not have episodes, trysts, affairs, anything. You shall not have any other intimate relations except for a family between a man and his wife, and if the Lord gives them kids. All right? That's it. All right? But Christ said, listen, if you look on a woman to lust after her, or also that means if you lusting after a man as a man or a woman as a woman, because Romans 1 from 21 on down goes into that, you are committing adultery already before you even touched her. So that's something that we have to refrain from. So kids come about from casual sex, whatever they call it nowadays, but when I was younger they called it casual sex. Kids come about from that. If people stop committing adultery, you wouldn't have unwanted children.
Nope.
You wouldn't have no need for an abortion. Or you wouldn't have a baby being raised by a mother and a grandmother with no man around.
Exactly.
And we would have families again, and that would make our community stronger. But we don't like to do things that are good for us because we have desires in us to destroy ourselves.
Exactly.
Even though it looks, feels, and sounds and smells good or whatever, Where are you going, bro?
Hebrews 13. Were you gonna go there?
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So we'll read this here.
Verse 4.
Yep.
Hebrews 13 and 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge.
So this is the righteous order of things, because you know you said a while ago people don't want to have marriage and settle down in a righteous family, and that's true.
Yep.
But the scriptures is telling us that marriage is honorable in all. So when a man and a woman comes together according to how Christ commanded, not according to the standards of this world, going in front of a pastor saying I do, that's not marriage, okay?
Yep.
Marriage according to the Lord is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. So that's when you're going to have children, and there's not going to be a burden. It's not going to be, oh, God, I'm not ready for this, or leaving them, you know what I'm saying, with the grandparents to have them raise them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it's going to be an honorable thing, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. But it says, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. So we see the judgment happening right now. You know, these kids are dying from an early age. We see the high STD rates. See kids born with HIV. How is that? You know, all because of people being whoremongers and adulterers, just can't control that lust and their emotions.
And you know what? That's a thing. You know what? That's a central theme in the Bible, because that has to do with a lot of things that a lot of topics that we teach on out of the Bible. It has to do with self-control.
Yeah.
It's like we did a class recently on gun control.
Yeah.
Where is the control supposed to be? In your mind.
Exactly.
You know. So what about anything really? Control your mind. That's what the Bible talks about when it says we should have temperance.
Exactly.
Um, actually, it's right here in first. Is it First Peter or Second Peter?
Hold on.
Second Peter. 1 and 5.
Okay. And beside this, given all diligence, add to your faith virtue,
Purity of mind. Read on.
and to virtue knowledge,
Knowing what to do according to as it is written. Read on.
and to knowledge temperance.
Self-control, self-restraint. To
And-
keep you from going into your desires that are contrary to the
Exactly.
Bible. Sorry to cut you off. Go on.
Exactly. And to temperance patience, and to patience godliness.
Okay, yeah. So that's it. The control.
Yeah.
Control Janet Jackson, but she was doing something else, But it's talking about mind control.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have to have some type of control. I tell you what, a race car driver driving at 202 miles an hour round a track for 3 hours. If this cat lose control, what's going to happen?
It's gonna crash.
Miserably, usually.
Yeah.
I remember my pop. I'd be outside playing as a kid. My father would come out on the porch. Hey, come on up here. They just had a crash. Oh yeah, let me go see the crash. Car flipping over, parts flying all over the place. And that's what happens to us. A whole bunch of chaos and confusion when we don't control our desires.
Yeah.
So let's go into 1 John.
Okay.
2. Okay, so there's a lot of things out here today that are popular,
Mm-hmm.
that people fight for, or defend, or people debate about whether this way or that way or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
One of them happens to be abortion.
Yep. Exactly.
And what did we read the statistics about our people? They doing it,
Crazy.
52 million. That's another statistic here.
Mm-hmm.
In New York City, our people are 1/4 of the population. This is just black people.
Mm-hmm.
1/4 of the population, but they have half of the abortions in the city.
That's a trip, man. Seriously, if
Our
you really
population
think about
just in this country. That's not talking about people going outside the country. That's not talking about the rest of our people scattered around the world.
it. Yeah.
Just in this country, instead of 40 million of us, it'll be 56, 60. It'll be 1/3 more of us. 1/4 more.
Dude, that's crazy, man. It was interesting. I think it was last night. I was
Uh-huh.
on the internet. Because today is the 2nd, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yesterday for so-called Black History Month,
Uh-huh.
the start of it, they had an article on there, and I think it was something about Afro-Latino jazz, something crazy, something stupid like that. But anyway, in there, they mentioned the slaves that were brought over from Africa or whatever into the different parts of the world, and they said most of the so-called African slaves are not here in the United States of America. A lot of them are actually, most of the slaves are actually in Brazil.
Okay.
And then it was Brazil, I think Nigeria, and then they said some other Caribbean islands or whatever.
Okay.
But when I was reading that, I was like, you know what, that's interesting, because they mentioned America, and they said it's not a whole lot of us or whatever that's actually concentrated here in America.
Yeah.
And I brought that out to say this: when we read like stuff like that statistic, that should really blow our minds to say, okay, we really don't make up a whole lot of the population, but yet and still we have this high abortion rate. We're killing off our own.
Yeah.
Why is that? You know what I'm saying? There's a reason for it.
Yeah, but that's enough for any Klan member or neo-Nazi or anybody that hates our people to just say, hey, they sitting around killing themselves between the murders.
Yeah.
How do you murder like 500 people in a year in one city that has the state has some of the most strict gun laws in our country?
Exactly.
And people going and breaking the law going and getting guns and killing people. Between that and the abortions, any racist is probably like, yo, my job is done.
Exactly.
Why should I be racist? They killing themselves.
Exactly. They don't need to do anything.
Yeah, no, man. Man, I'm gonna go build a man cave, man. Forget that.
Dude, and you're right. And we become a laughing stock. You know, like a while ago, you said the story about your father, and
Yeah.
So y'all going up there to looking at it and laugh.
Yeah.
They doing the same thing to us
Yeah.
today because that's what we're like a laughing stock.
Did you see this little woman got her little infant children calling a security guard gay? He kicked them out the store because they was being unruly and loud, and she telling him, "You can't do this and do that." They go and yell, "My kids gonna do what they want to do," and to the point where she attacked him, and he had to tase her.
Yeah.
And wait for the remix. It's already out. The remix is gonna be.
But say nowadays put it on YouTube.
Yeah, they put it on YouTube, and you know what? And people that hate us is like, yo, look at those people. They don't even know how to interact with each other.
Exactly.
Don't care about how to raise children. Don't care about this. Don't care about that. And then get mad when something like that happens. Get mad when you get a flawless victory uppercut on a bus.
Or no, get mad when you have brothers like ourselves bringing out the scriptures, reading it, and trying to correct people. Laughed at, cussed out,
At least.
Yeah, just all kinds of hateful stuff. Man, that Bible, man, please.
Yeah, but this is the key to life. But then,
exactly.
But then, you know what? Unruly children, abortions, murder, burnt up buildings, people in abandoned buildings getting high, catching the things on fire. People doing, what was that one thing? They found a drug dealer, I don't know, folded up in a house. It's just all this thing. This is normal.
Yeah.
That's normal. That chaos, that confusion, the car crashes, blowing up and rolling over 18 times as the story of your life is normal. But the Bible is something you don't want to deal with.
Yeah, the Bible is strange.
Yeah.
And they weird, man. I just can't get with that, man.
But so there's a lot of things in the world that are pumped up and exhorted. You know, the new normal, the abortion thing, and this and that, all these things are in the world because the world promotes them. The Bible does not.
Exactly.
Let's read 1 John 2:15 through 17.
Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Okay. So we have to really look at, if we say we love God and we religious and stuff like that, there's things that we got to check and we got to stop.
Exactly.
We got to look at ourselves and see if we're doing things of the world. Read on.
Verse 16 of 1 John chapter 2. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world.
So since we're talking about abortion, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, casual sex.
Yep.
Oops. I don't really want to deal with this kid, the lust of the eyes. Oh, you know what? I don't really have to deal with this kid. I could just knock it off, man, and just, I'll regret it or whatever if I can't, maybe later on or whatever I want. But right now, and the pride of life, you know what? That's the way it's got to be. You don't try to tell me, don't try to convince me.
Exactly.
I got to do this.
Exactly.
It's not of the Father, but is of the world. So read verse 17.
1 John chapter 2, verse 17. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
Really? So if we're caught up into the mindset of the world, a.k.a. for all the deep people out there, the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
Whatever, just doing anything of the world because the beast is going to pass away, right?
Yeah.
And those that do the will of God are going to abide forever.
Exactly.
So anybody that's caught up into the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, it says here they're gonna pass away.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Or
So
that new thing that people have, YOLO.
okay. Yeah, you know what? When I hear that,
Uh-huh.
I think of Kanye West with a skirt on.
No, he's gotten even weirder.
What?
They had a new one.
Oh,
He was
no.
somewhere in Germany, dude.
Oh no.
I can't even. I didn't even
know.
remember the
What
name of
do
the
you have
suit
on
he
this
was in.
time?
It was some like weird, like bizarre suit. I can't even describe it. They had a special word for it. You know,
Okay.
those journalists that
Yeah,
use
yeah,
big
okay,
words.
all right.
But it was beyond weird, dude. And he was
Okay.
giving a justification. Oh, I'm not crazy. I'm this and that.
Okay, so
Whatever.
it must have been a mess, a man
Yeah,
dress.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, let's look at this thing. Let's go to Proverbs 19 and 21
Alrighty.
and see what what is really real. What's going to last.
Okay.
Okay.
Proverbs 19, verse 21. There are many devices in a man's heart.
In a woman's heart too.
Yep. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord that shall stand.
So the counsel of the Lord is going to stand whether you live in accordance to it or not.
Yes, sir.
You know, so that's what we have to look at. If you want to have a child as a woman, send up prayers.
Mm-hmm.
Not only for the kid, but first for the right man.
Yep.
Send up prayers also that you could, let's go to Isaiah 55, also that you can get yourself right with the Lord. Because the scripture says a bad mate, a righteous mate is a gift from the Lord.
Yep.
But also a bad mate is punishment from the Lord too. That's what the scriptures say. So if your mate is bugging out and doing all this other stuff, you got to look at yourself.
Yeah.
But go according to the counsel of the Lord.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's read Isaiah 55 and verse 2 and 3.
Okay. Wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread?
So why are you spending your money on stuff that's not feeding and helping you spiritually?
Yeah.
Okay, read on.
And your labor for that which satisfieth not.
The things that are going to satisfy you is things that you do to please the Lord, and He give you blessings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the spending your money for stuff that's not good for you and working on stuff that's not going to make the Lord bless you, in this case, is doing the abortions.
Yep.
So read on.
Hearken diligently unto me,
Listen to these scriptures.
and eat ye that which is good.
Eat this stuff up. Like
Yeah.
if you like math class as a little kid, you're gonna eat it up, right?
Yep.
But it ain't really food.
Yeah.
It's words in a book.
Exactly.
Okay. So eat that which is good. Read on.
And let your soul delight itself in fatness.
In the fatness, the blessings from the obedience to the Lord.
Yep.
Read verse 3.
Isaiah 55, verse 3. Incline your ear and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live, and I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David.
The certain mercies of David. Incline your ear. Have that humility. Incline your ear. Come back to the Lord. Hear and live. Hear and live. Not just be created, exist, and then die. Live, and have the hope of the sure mercies of David. Meaning seeing David in the kingdom.
Yeah.
Read verses 6 and 7.
Isaiah 55, verse 6. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon.
Okay, so we have to leave off from that wickedness. We have to forsake it, let it go. It's not an easy thing, because we all have desires that are contrary to us living right and therefore living.
Yep. Yeah.
And staying alive. We all have these desires,
Yep.
whether it be too much ice cream or murder. or or whatever in between, from A to Z. But the thing is, what we have to do is we have to repent, because God will have mercy upon us, and He will surely pardon us. Okay, so let's read verse 8. How much time we got? Just
Isaiah
1 minute. Yeah, read verse 8.
55, verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord.
So that's just saying that we have to get right, because He set things in order and we're out of order. So we have to get back in order to get right with Him, to get the sure mercies of David. And with that, we hope you have a good day, and Lord's will, we'll be back next week. And hopefully this class is edifying those that need it. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.